Join Africa's largest trade and investment fair in South Africa. Intra-African Trade Fair gives you access to more than 1,100 exhibitors and 10,000 visitors and buyers and more than 5,000 conference delegates. More than 55 countries participate in trade and investment deals worth $40 billion as business and government come together to explore business and networking opportunities at the international exhibition. Brought to you by the African Export-Import Bank and their premium partners, the IATF2021 Transforming Africa.
Dave, welcome to 6 African Trade Talks. How are you?
I'm very good, and you, Chad?
Thank you. Dave, briefly describe the AAAM's focus and the outcomes of your efforts.
The vision of the African Association of Automotive Manufacturers is to industrialize the automotive sector across the continent by working with African governments to shape and implement policies and ecosystems that will attract the investment of global OEMs and component manufacturers and unlock the economic potential of the continent. Our members are from across Africa and include global OEMs, national assemblers, component manufacturers, and service providers that can support the development of effective automotive ecosystems. If you just look at some of the successes in Africa, the government of Ghana approved their policy in March 2020. Since then, VW started assembling vehicles, followed by Toyota more recently, with Nissan to commence assembly in January next year. Peugeot has just announced its assembly program, and I know of 3 other global brands that will commence assembly by the 1st of May 2022. In Ethiopia at the moment, we are actually working with the government to develop an automotive policy, and we hope that that will be approved by the end of the year. We recently had an engagement with the Prime Minister of Egypt, where there's a complete commitment, and it's exciting, for the development and implementation of an integrated automotive policy that will make a huge difference to the industrialization of the auto sector in Egypt. In addition, the Parliament of Kenya approved their new automotive policy during this year, and this will be implemented over the next 6 to 12 months. This is also an exciting development, huge potential in Kenya to grow their assembly volumes.
That's great. Interesting to hear of this great initiative and these developments that will create employment on our continent and transform our industries. Which countries are at the state of readiness to be part of an African automotive supply chain?
So South Africa and Morocco lead this. They have integrated supply chains, and they're followed by Egypt, that's also well industrialized, but not at the same level of depth of development. And Tunisia is not far behind that too. Then if you look at Kenya, Kenya has much potential in its supply chain. I visited the component manufacturers on the ground, and they are a little constrained at the moment by the limited volumes in vehicle assembly in Kenya, but huge potential when the volumes pick up. And then you have the infant industry, the new industry of Ghana, where there's very little in the value chain. And that's where we've been taking component manufacturers from South Africa, from Germany, and soon from Egypt to visit Ghana and to explore opportunities of developing a value chain.
It's always great to learn from fellow African countries, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I would like to see Africa integrate into Africa. And where we don't have the technologies, we can obviously import them from outside of Africa and create partnerships in Africa. Key is to uplifting the technology and skill base of Africa in partnership with Africans in this journey to develop the automotive sector.
How do you expect the automotive show and the forum at the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in Durban to further this effort?
The Auto Forum will share the opportunities presented by developing and implementing progressive auto policies across the continent. I believe that the new vehicle sales in Africa will increase from 1.1 million pre-COVID to 5 million by 2035. The forum will also enable the participants to engage on what is actually required to facilitate these opportunities. The trade fair and forum will also provide a networking opportunity for auto stakeholders from across Africa to engage, to learn, to explore partnerships and align on the journey to industrialize and grow the auto sector on the continent of Africa.
Why and how can existing prospective supply chain members participate?
So participation is open to all those interested and passionate about the African opportunity. So prospective supply chain members in new auto economies can attend and engage with existing stakeholders from across Africa and external to Africa. And existing members can exhibit their capabilities in order to explore growth opportunities in both business expansion and technology development.
I understand the forum begins with a heads of state session and then address 6 themes. Please share more on the program, speakers, and expected outcomes.
So the Auto Forum does start with a closed breakfast session between the automotive CEOs and key stakeholders and specific heads of state to discuss what is required to accelerate the development of the auto industry across the continent. This is followed by a panel session with the heads of state, which will also be given the opportunity for the audience to ask questions. Then we move on to the 6 themes. And these 6 themes will take the mode of presentation, a case study, followed by a working group. And the working group will engage on the topic, and the facilitator of each of the working groups in the breakaway sessions will have the opportunity to come back at the plenary session and give feedback on what the working group believes is important to unblock the obstacles of that specific theme. And the themes are development of regional value chains and skills development, the automotive policy, vehicle safety, sustainability, and infrastructure and supply chain. What we want to achieve is we want to actually get into the heart of the activities that will unlock this industry on the continent.
Thank you, Dave. Lastly, how significant is the African Free Trade Agreement and why?
So this is the world's largest free trade bloc in terms of participating countries. And of importance is the newly formed African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat that is based in Accra. And the Secretariat is absolutely committed to industrializing the African continent in a number of sectors, of which the automotive is one of the priorities. In support of the Secretariat, we have AAAM ourselves, which is a private sector association that is dedicated to driving the industrialization and growth of the sector across the continent. It is exciting to see that the support to realize a fully integrated and significant auto industry in Africa is gaining much interest from within Africa and external to Africa. This is all significant as the single market of the African Continental Free Trade Area will provide the scale that is required to be a globally competitive African automotive sector.
Thank you very much, Dave. That marks the end of our podcast. Looking forward to seeing you in Durban.
Yes, Chad, it'll be exciting. I look forward to seeing so many participants from across Africa who are interested in not only industrializing the auto sector, but interested in growing Africa as a whole within the single market of the free trade area.
Join Africa's largest trade and investment fair in South Africa. Intra-African Trade Fair gives you access to more than 1,100 exhibitors and 10,000 visitors and buyers and more than 5,000 conference delegates. More than 55 countries participate in trade and investment deals worth $40 billion as business and government come together to explore business and networking opportunities at the international exhibition. Brought to you by the African Export-Import Bank and their premium partners, the IATF2021 Transforming Africa.